practiced. So it comes in the way of answering the doubts of Arjuna, needless to say, but it also brings out a lot of other ideas which any teacher would expect, that the student should absorb it with all attention and should absorb with all sincerity without entertaining any doubts, particularly when the teacher is a Nobel Prize winner, right? So here the Nobel Prize winner, so to say, is the very Lord himself, after which everything has come. And he says that this knowledge has transcended several ages, but the knowledge has remained the same. But over the passage of time, because it has been handed over by people who are less qualified, the same body of knowledge has undergone some kind of a dross, some kind of dirt, due to lack of proper understanding as well as improper application. Because of that, the knowledge itself has got tainted. So such a tainted knowledge, who is the person who has the authority to correct it? So the Lord, the God, the Supreme Brahman, comes as an avatara. So this fourth chapter brings in a new concept of the Lord coming down to help the humanity, thereby making this body of knowledge not only imperative but also sacred. When something becomes sacred, it becomes adorable, and its life and its acceptance becomes unquestionable. Utility aspect is only proportional to the extent of application. Good, good, bad, bad. You apply good, you get the good result. You apply it bad, and you get bad result. So that cannot be really cannot be made as a standard for adoption. But if it gets a stamp of something which is very sacred, then it becomes easy for human minds, which are locked up in very mundane things, and not even be able to see the proper light in these instructions, however, can accept it on the basis of its sanctity. To begin with, not to end with sanctity, but it becomes a very good invitation card that this is very sanctimonious body of knowledge. So what is so sacred and sanctified about it? It's just that the very creator of this universe is interested in this knowledge, interested in preserving this knowledge and perpetuating the knowledge across generations, yugas for that matter, yuga and kalpa also for that matter, across the creation. He wants to perpetuate this knowledge. So the Lord himself is interested in that. And anything connected with the divinity are sacred. What else is sacred? Secular is whatever is man created, so to say, man associated, and sacred is what is divine created and divine associated. So it gets the stamp of sacredness. So it is easy to put your mind into it on anything that is branded as sacred. The reason is its universality is something which is very evident. You can feel the necessity of it. You can see the eternality of it. You can see the universality of it. You can see there is no bias, and it is elevating, and it is also strengthening you. It removes the weaknesses, and it is able to lift the individual from wherever he is. So the stamp of sacredness is a very, very important thing for a beginner. Till the end, it is not required, because no sooner you start practicing these values, you become strong, and that itself will be a testimony of your future and further adherence. We don't require thereafter a book to tell you. You yourself will have a first-hand experience to not only put it to a long practice, but even you will be able to convince others, you will be able to preach to others what is called as prachara, right? Pravachana. You will also be able to help others to gain faith in it. And what is the testimony? Your own experience. Further to which you will not say it is sacred or not. It's required as an invitation factor. And Krishna puts that stamp in the 4th chapter. So it's me who has given to the elders in the past, and now over a passage of time it has got degraded, and I have come and I am giving you the same knowledge. So that's a very beautiful thing. That means it is undying, eternal, Sanatana. The Sanatana aspect is coming from Sri Krishna himself. It is not that others have to say that. Krishna himself says that. The Puratana knowledge I am again giving you. The Puratana is Sanatana. And then of course the stress on renunciation being a singular mode of practice for attaining perfection. But then renunciation, as propounded by the scriptures such as Upanishads, has got a very tighter connotation. It does not allow much interpretation or much flexibility. Correct? They are brutally frank. Either you are a renunciate or you are a householder. The full stop. A renunciate is a person who is supposed to give up thought, word and deed, any pursuit after the materials of the world. Full stop. That's how uncompromisingly Upanishads states this fact, which is true, which is undoubtedly true. We should never dilute that fact. But keeping that on one hand, and if renunciation is such a powerful tool, do we have other implementations of the same? And Sri Krishna comes and does the course correction. Though he has so to say, taken the material from the Upanishads, is condensing the material from the Upanishads, but he gives a lot of leeway into interpreting those terminologies. And he says, renunciation, the core of renunciation is in what is called as karma phalatyaga, nissanga, in detachment and giving up the results of the fruits of action. And what are you giving up? Remember, you are not throwing away the fruits, you are not disowning the fruits, or you are not deprecating it, you are only giving the right over the fruits. I cannot claim that something is exclusively mine. That right cannot be claimed. So we give up the right of ownership, the right of claim over the results of the action which we have done. Of course we have done those actions, but by the mere performance of those actions, Sri Krishna says that you don't become the owner of those fruits. Well, for the very simple reason that an action cannot happen by one man's effort. Even for me, you cannot say that, Maharaj, you have come from such a far distance to this place now. Well, I was at the mercy of so many passers-by, so many vehicles, they could have hit me and killed me on the way. I mean, against so many odds, I have actually reached this place. Correct? If there is going to be a function, an award granting function, and I am going to receive the award, I cannot own the award for myself. That award will be, there are many parties to those awards. Meaning to say that I am not exclusively instrumental in committing any work, doing and committing works. We as a collective force only we get to achieve it. So therefore, what he says is the results will always be shared, and it is shared in a mysterious manner. And so don't lay an unfair claim on those fruits of action. And that idea comes very strongly in the 3rd chapter, of course, and in the 4th chapter, it is coupled with the renunciation, saying that giving up this kind of a right over the fruits of action is what is called renunciation. So, such a beautiful idea we get from the 4th chapter. That's why it's called Jnana, Karma, Sannyasa Yoga. And a few other benefits are there. So, continuing with where we left, and interestingly, Krishna puts a puzzle. He says that, we are all familiar with what the concept of karma, work. But Hear from me, Krishna seems to be saying this, hear from me that this, yeah, maybe fire drill. They are doing a fire drill. So what happened? The karma, which is basically action. Now this is a double-edged sword. Karma is a double-edged sword in the sense that it works both ways. When we say double-edged sword, we actually mean to say that one edge is advantageous, the other edge is disadvantageous. That way we use the word double-edged sword. That is, if you use it carefully, it will help you. If you don't use it, then it will destroy you. Karma has got that particular, quality. You say, so we have to understand what karma is. Since it is a double-edged sword, can I just disown it and get rid of the problem at the very source? Don't do action. So akarma, it's called akarma. So akarma also has to be properly understood. What is akarma? And then there is something called vikarma. Vikarma is misuse of actions, tweaking those actions, seeming to be very clever. So first of all, committing actions knowingly and unknowingly, that is one thing, karma. And then fear of committing some errors, abstain from karma, that is akarma. And then the vikarma is, you do the karma and you know that there are two edges, there is a disadvantage portion, and using your clever attitude, you try to avoid only the disadvantage, but take the advantage of it. Correct? Such a thing is vikarma, viparita karma. So that will lead to even worse complications. So because Sri Krishna says, see, you cannot understand the flow of karma. The flow and the consequences of karma are very, very tough to understand. Gahana, karmano, gati. Gahana means it runs deep. When something is running deep means what? It becomes, there are too many factors that are governing it. And it is not very evident for our superficial scanning. So we have to analyze a lot. And he says that it is not easy to. Gahana here deep means it's not easy to fathom the consequences of karma. Therefore, we have to have a proper understanding of karma, even before we engage in karma. Of course, this is coming in the very right context of the very genesis of our creation, the human creation. The genesis of the human creation, according to the Shastras, is that man is ignorant. It is the ignorance, ajnana, which makes the man be born again and again and again. Till the ajnana subsists within his body, mind, intellect and soul, constitution, he will be subjected to repeated births, and naturally he will be taking different bodies, suited to the extent of ajnana he has. If the ajnana is very gross, then he may have to take more gross forms to get rid of those propensities and tendencies. And as the tendencies become subtler and subtler, he will get higher and better births. So that's how we get births from the clump of a grass or a stone even, for that matter, up to the most powerful Prajapati or Brahma. All of them are births only. All of them are subjected to cycles of birth and death. Even Brahma is subject to cycle of birth and death. Scripture is not sparing Brahma also. Only a person who is Atma-jnani, he can salvage himself from this clutch. So what is this clutch? It's a triangle. Ajnana is the source. Not knowing about yourself. You see, you may say that why is it this not knowing about yourself becoming a cause of our creation? You may ask one simple question. How is it that this entire complex thing has come into being just because we do not know? I mean, does it mean that someday this plate will cease to exist if it comes to know what this plate is? Shastra says yes. It says yes. It's only because we do not know what we are continuously born. And we are, we are at the head of the food chain. So if you answer the questions raised by the head of the food chain, then everything within the food chain will be answered. Because the head of the food chain is the most complex being. Man is the most complex. So if you give answers to the redemption of man, then you have answered the redemption of the entire creation. Because everything will have to touch the status of the human manhood, so to say, the human being. Everything has to evolve and come there, and then finally, subsequent to which, what's going to happen if people ask, then Shastra comes and says, after human being, it's only emancipation. So human being is the only species that can strive for emancipation. What is emancipation? Just knowing about yourself. So the knowing about yourself puts an end to your subsequent recreation. But why would you aspire for a recreation at all? No, we are very happy here. It's okay, but you don't seem to be continuously happy, perpetually happy. You don't say, you have a lot of complaints, you have a lot of agony, you have a lot of misery. Happiness is only a one drop of honey amidst a cauldron of poison that we take. So as a result, what's happening is the question of I don't want to be born, sometime is at the back of the mind. It is there. Why at all was I born? Is there any end to it? Correct? So a time will come when the nature, like a thunderbolt, fall upon your head and then unsettles all the comfort, peace, joy that you are having and makes you, forces you, thrusts you into into a sea of sorrow and make you wonder about this question of your own origin and existence. There's not a single soul in the planet who has not pondered about this question, though he might not have articulated it to another person. Heart of heart, he would have felt it at some point in time. And that's precisely the source of our creation. Ajnana, not knowing. Had we known about ourselves, then this wouldn't have happened at all. So our seers in the past who have given this sacred body of knowledge, their wisdom surpasses all our wisdom put together, because they have found the answer to this question of our own existence. So Sri Krishna, what he devises is Ajnana being the source, that Ajnana is making you committing a lot of work. So Ajnana about yourself, you want to fulfill all those things by seeking answers from outside. Who am I? What am I? What is it I am up to? What is the purpose of my life? So you engage in a lot of external action only in search of the answer, but not articulating it in the manner it should have been. So karma. So from ajnana comes karma. So avidya, and after karma, then what happens? Kama will come. Avidya and kama. So kama and karma. So this three triangle, a 3-node triangle keeps on looping around. We go on encircling around this kavidya kama karma in every one of our actions. There is a desire to know. That's a kama. Correct? The desire to know when that energy is ill spent on the vagaries of the world. That time what happens? The karma intensifies. And then that intensifies our avidya also. How? You say that I am a father, I am a brother, I am a friend, I am a son, I am a doctorate, I am an engineer. So more and more of these qualifications are getting added, stamped upon the soul falsely, because none of which are we. None of these identifications that we have taken for ourselves are we. So this jnana, avidya, kama and karma forms a triangle, and that every day it puts us chained to this particular cycle. And Sri Krishna comes and says, since avidya is not in your hands, agreed, kama cannot be killed, because it is with that kama only your desire for knowing about yourself also has to happen. See, if you kill the kama altogether, then the desire to know also will go away. So kama is necessary. That is again a double-edged sword. Correct? So you cannot get rid of kama. So what we need to now work upon is karma. What is to be done, what is not to be done, that we have control. So The entire second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, the third, fourth, and also in second, Sri Krishna verily takes up this idea of karma and says that have a proper understanding of the karma, you will have your life very well spent in this planet. So, and he says what is karma and what is akarma and what is vikarma. So, these three things he goes to clarify. And then he comes with the answer that a person who simply remain in inaction, who is not doing anything, no chesta, no movement of lips, maybe sitting, maybe something like what you guys are now up to, people take it to be inaction. But Krishna comes and gives a clarification, that is not inaction. Simply sitting, doing nothing does not amount to inaction. At the same time, a person who is doing all running about, doing about, working and all exertion, don't think that he is working. That is very, very paradoxically contradicting. And he says that so karma has to be understood in a different manner. It's not mere exuberance, extravagance or an exertion. Being which and not being which will be called as action and inaction respectively. No. That is what is called as the physics way of understanding it. But there is a psychological and a spiritual way of understanding what is karma and what is akarma. He says that which is karma is the one in which you are attached. The moment you are attached with the results of the action, to the results of the action, then you are attached to your qualities during the performance of the action, or you are attached to the personalities during the performance of the action. So any type of attachment, the moment we express that attachment, then that indulgence becomes a karma. Okay, so what? Now, see carefully. Because of that attachment, what happens is, anyway, let me be attached. That's the way I'm trained to work. I do, and then I leave it. No, you cannot leave it. The karma does not end there. See, it's a cycle, right? It's going to add to your karma and avidya. This karma is going to add to karma and avidya, so it gets some more momentum to continue the cycle. The forces that are impending within us, which are within, not impending, which are within us, working within us, they are not fully spent in the karma. What is happening is, a part of it is again going back and it becomes a feedback into the system. Giving that feedback is what is called as samskara. Vasanas or samskaras, karma vasana. They are karma bijas. So this bija will sprout and lead to the future action. This will sprout and lead to the future action. So the attachment that I am showing in all things which are external are actually going and strengthening the existing seeds, or it is sowing new seeds for the future action. Actually, that is what is called karma. Sri Krishna wanted to shift the focus from actually what you see with your eyes. Don't estimate karma, akarma from that perspective. You have to understand karma, akarma from the perspective of the feedback that the karma does to you, does to your consciousness, does to your conscience. Both are different. So both of them, this goes and gets back to, as vasanas, as seeds for the future action. Now this accumulation of seeds, do you think they will be good enough, good seeds or bad seeds? They will all be those seeds which is having the quality of your mind when you were attached with many people, many things, many processes. That quality is the quality of the seed also. So since I am already a confused personality, currently, my seed also will have the same confusion. So in future this becomes a tree and then yields fruit, it will lead to more confusion. So confusion begetting confusion is the cycle that we are going through. We are not able to come. So Krishna comes and says, therefore understand, my dear friend, understand that this feedback into your consciousness This feedback you have to cut. The moment you cut this feedback, your work will be done as demanded by people and processes and place. The work will be done, but the feedback into your consciousness, into your body, mind, intellect, constitution, the feedback will be cut. That means what? You are getting rid of some particle confusion. So your clarity will be better, your understanding will be better, your engagement in action will be better, because each of these feedback, they are not going simply sitting, they consume some energy. Whenever they go back in the seed form, it is consuming your pranic energy. So now if you cut that, seeds are not formed, your future what you call fructification is not there. So your energy is conserved. And what will happen to this energy? You will put that in the course of action. And you will get better results. Better results, but you are not owning the results. So, but by the very fact that you are not owning the results, what happens? The results become much richer. Much richer. You may say that, well, if I am not interested in the result, why will I do it? No, you are interested in the result because of your past seeds. The interest is already sowed there. And that is showing up now. You are only stopping the future fructification of the seeds that I am going to create now. You are cutting only that. So the propensity already there within the seeds, now they are showing up as interest in me, as a karma in me. Okay, I have understood, I have to do that, I have to achieve this. I cannot simply keep quiet. I will be, my mind will not allow me to be at rest until I accomplish this task. But now I have read Bhagavad Gita. Now I have understood Krishna, particularly Dhyanagamyananda's lecture. So therefore, I will train myself not to be cautious about the way I am exhibiting this particular willpower, and do not accumulate future seeds. So this is where the person becomes more intelligent, and the work done in this fashion is not considered as work because no seeds. So according to Krishna, a work is called a work only if it is fed back into your consciousness for future fructification. If that is not there, then it is not work. You may run 1,000 miles also. Zero work done. See, what a wonderful understanding. Gahana karma. That's why Sri Krishna, it runs deep. Runs deep. Gahana means deep. How deep? Deep into your depth of your consciousness. Karma has its presence in the depth of your consciousness. Consciousness is the repository of all your desires. From there only everything is sprouting out. And we have got huge mountains and mountains and mountains of that. You may say that, "Arey, mountains and mountains are there." What is going to happen just by one grain? One grain of seed if I put, how is it going to change? Like this only mountains have come. If you don't stop today, tomorrow, it's not never going to end. And we are happy doing all this. Krishna does not say that you should compulsorily stop all this. But then don't blame the Creator God. People say that Creator God is so partial. Some people he has kept happy and some people he has put them in sorrow. Don't blame the Creator God. So Krishna brings this pursuit, karma, akarma and vikarma. In that context we come to this, Tyaktva karma phalasangam, nityatrupto nirashraya, karmani, abhipravrutopi, naiva kinchiti. He is not doing anything in spite of him engaging in the thick of the action. Abhipravritti. 20. Abhipravritti means what? The person is engaged in the thick of action. He will see that, man, he is everywhere, all rounder in the cricket game. No, he is doing very good fielding, very good bowling, and also is a step-up keeper. And he comes in the slog overs and then does wonderful batting. I mean, everything he does. Nowadays that quality is necessary. And he is glowing in all glorious. Such a person, this is called abhipravritti. So you will say that he didn't play the match at all. Will you say? It will be stupid to say that he didn't play any match. You will say, hey, come on, I've got man of the match award also. How do you say I did not play the match? And he will say, wonderfully you have played the match. Suppose he comes and suppose he has read Sri Krishna. And then he has played the match really in the spirit of Sri Krishna's. Then he may physically take the award. But heart of heart he knows that he did not do that. That he has not played the role of the all-rounder. Heart of the heart, he will have the feeling. Because he has dissociated the sense of the being from the actual presence of the being. Presence of the being is body, mind, intellect. The actual sense of the being is Atma. So if I identify myself with the Atma, it will disown the lesser identifications. So he will say, no, I did not. Body, mind, intellect worked. It played the all-rounder. And it got the award. I have not. That's why Janaka, in a famous incident happened, the minister comes running and telling, Janaka, sir, your highness, yes, the palace is burning. Then, okay. Sir, the palace is burning. Okay. Aren't you affected? He says that, see, it is the palace which is burning. I am not burning. In fact, he said, Mithila itself was burning. Mithilayam dagdayam name dahyati kaschana. The reason is simple. See, he has got fire engines everywhere. Correct? The fire staffs are working. They are supposed to be working 24/7. Not the same guy, of course, in shifts. They are supposed to keep a strong vigil on the overall, and any intimation will come. And they are supposed to run the engines and then douse the fire. What will happen if this fellow jumps up and down? If the king is jumping up and down, do you think the fire engines can go any faster? Huh? Do you think he can at that time call the guys from the house to do the firefighting? There's no point in jumping up and down. Everybody has got their respective duties. They will do it. Fire, so what? Mithilayam, this is a really very, very emotional point. Mithilayam daddayam name dahyati kaschana. There are people who will take care of it. Of course, I need to work a little hard to bring back the city in shape. But that is the course of action. My jumping around is not going to help. Chicho, it is as a you agonize over the particular event. Do you think you can do any better in rebuilding that city or country or state, whatever? No. That's the time where you have to be extremely calm and composed, and then start working on how to make amends. That will not come if you fret and fume and agonize over the loss that is coming. So he says, Naiva kinchit karoti saha. So he will not fret and fume, jump around. When tyaktva karma phala sangam, he gives up the attachments to the fruits of action. Meaning, always understand, he gives the right over the fruits of action. He will enjoy. A cook in a family will get the food, but not the food he really wanted to have. But he will have his belly filled up. But not the bindi sabji which he is so much attached to. Because that has been taken up by someone else. So he cannot have the right over the fruits of action. Thereby, nitya triptaha. Therefore, he doesn't allow his mind to get vacillate. He is contented and satisfied. Nirashraya. That is, nirashraya means not taking something else for a support. Not taking something else for a support means what? Say the same cook example. On the day of the feast, he did wonderful bindi sabji. And then he did not get to eat that, but he got some kumdo and all the things. And he had a stomach full. Then he might have thought, next week again we will do that. Next week again we will do this bindi sabji. That time I will fire. I will take a double dose. I was supposed to take 2 spoons this time. Next time I will take 1 cup. Now what is happening is, he has postponed. See, he has pacified himself and he is ashraya. He is taking refuge. Refuge on a future prospect for the fulfillment of those desires. No, that is also not correct. It's only like a rheumatism. You are shifting the problem from knee to the shoulder, and from shoulder to the neck, from neck to somewhere else. Correct? See, this shifting of the problem is, you have to solve the problem, you have to get rid of the problem. That should be your objective. So, nirashraya means taking refuge and resort of something else in order to pacify yourself. What is the guarantee that what you are going to take refuge and resort, what is the guarantee that you will be able to fulfill that? Or you will be able to get that? There is no guarantee. The next week also, when it is made, to his bad luck, that time also windy got over. What will happen? 2-3 times he can postpone, 4th time he will get frustrated. But that's not the way to work. Correct? You have to have the enthusiasm. You have to have the joy. Every time we have to feel the bliss that is within. There is no force in this earth which can make you sorrow over things. There is no force. We just permit ourselves, we lose ourselves, and then submerge ourselves in the sorrow. There is not a single force in the earth which can. Because we are the very epitome, the very Himalayan range of bliss. Unending expanse of bliss is there within us. But somehow we got covered up. So Krishna is trying to salvage us from that kind of ignorance. So he says that now this karma bija is the one which is now clouding things. Now get rid of that slowly. Nirashir yatachittatma tekta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. The all-rounder comes and says, my hand bowled, my leg ran, and then I jumped, I caught. No, all these things are only body, mind, intellect. They were this thing. But me, the soul, was all observing this. So the prize was given to the body, mind and intellect, not to me. That kind of a dissociation will be there. But such a person, he can engage in the action in a much more fruitful manner than the person who is very passionate. Because passion leaks away the energy that you have. It leaks away in drops, in larger amounts at times. Shariram kevalam karma. It's only the body which is actually engaging in a body includes mind, intellect, all those things connected with the body. Kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Now you see, this body, this hand, now takes the thing and then does something. Can you punish the hand? Does the court goes and says, hey, your right hand is the one which went and punched his fist, na? Right hand is the one which punched, na? So right hand has to be punished. That is actually the Sharia law. But anyway, that we will leave it. It is the right hand that is to be punished. Or do you, because we are talking sense, can go any extent we can go. So, whom will you punish? Do you punish the master or you will punish the slave? You have to punish the master is the one who made the slave to commit the act. So, myself being the master, what will happen is I will have to pay some fine, or if I don't have the fine, I will be jailed. Now, the thing here is, the hand did not get the punishment. Why? Why the hand was not punished?
Because it was simply following the orders.
The hand did not own it. There is no ownership in the hand. So the guy who will have the ownership only needs the punishment. Agreed or not? So that is how the law is made up. Child, when it commits a mistake, child is forgiven. Why? Child does not have the sense of ownership. Sense of I is not fully mature. So they say after 18. Well, someday we have to put 18 here, 16 elsewhere, maybe 12 elsewhere. Someday they have fixed, and after that day, you are constitutionally expected to be the owner and responsible of the action, of your actions. Not a day prior to that. It's okay, that is a constitutional setup. But it is true, that is a fact that a child does not have the sense of ownership. So there is no point in trying to beat this child. So what they do? They will go and ask the parent. बुद्धू लोग आप लोग कहाँ गए थे? ये बच्चे को ऐसे छोड़ के कहाँ गए थे आप लोग? So the punishment will be given to the mentors, to the parent. Even in Sharia law also, you cannot cut the child's hand just because there is no sense of ownership. See, that is the point. The moment you own, you become responsible for it, both the good as well as the bad. So this all-rounder comes and says, no, I did not do it all. Why? Because I did not identify myself with either body, mind or intellect. Well, these are the ones which did the action. I did not do. So the body, mind and intellect constitution took whatever Think that was coming. He transferred. So he does, identifies himself completely with the soul, and soul, the Atma, never engages in any action. Akarmatvam. Akarmatvam vidyate Atmani. There is no action in the Atma. So if you identify yourself with the Atma, there is no ownership. Therefore, what happens? No, but you may for the the crime committed, the Constitution may stamp upon you some punishment. That is okay. That is from the law point of view. But heart of heart, he will not feel that because he has dissociated from that, and then go through the punishment process. And in the same way, he will go through the awarding process also. Neither the punishment nor the awarding is going to have any more impact. It's not going to create any more bijas into the consciousness. Because he has dissociated. And how has he done it? He has effectively put his identification on the Atma. So that is the beautiful idea we get from Shariram Kevalam Karma. It's a body, mind, intellect, Baba. Let it have its own joy and suffering. I have got nothing to do with it. Sri Ramakrishna used to say this, that he got cancer, throat cancer. Na? So he used to suffer, and he says whenever this throat cancer becomes a little bit unbearable, he would say, oh body, the suffering is for you. Body, oh body, the suffering is for you. Let the mind be with my mother. Let the mind be with my mother, karke he will abstract himself. He will absolutely feel no pain during that time. The suffering is only for the body, not for me. Karke he will withdraw the mind. So we have clearly seen, even just the other day, Sri Ramakrishna lived with us. And then the famous incident that happened. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting, having fun and folly also. There is more fun in the folly. Particularly when you have youngsters around. You cannot be always talking philosophical. I am doing it just because I am given the job to do. But otherwise now, we should be having a lot of fun in this group. So Sri Ramakrishna had a tremendous amount of fun. 17, 18 years old boys. All kinds of fun he used to have. Then all of a sudden, he will get abstracted in an ecstatic mode. And then he will literally sit or lie or stand lifeless. Whichever posture he is, that posture will continue and he will become lifeless in that posture. So that time, Mahimacharan is a doctor. He is a doctor in the trained in the Western medicine. So he was there, and then he got abstracted. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting, joking, and then suddenly he got abstracted, and then he became motionless, lifeless apparently. And then he had his stethoscope, and then he checked. There was no heartbeat. Sri Ramakrishna did not show any sign of life. Pulse 0. So what happens? Typically, such signs are also seen in some patients, but one particular test, such a apparently lifeless body will fail. What is the test? They will subject a strong light onto your retina. The retina will convulse when light comes. That will never, because that is an optical instrument. So the optical instrument has got its own reflex. So the moment you put that, then it will do some change happens. They can see that. I don't know what they see, but they can see the change in the contraction. And then say, oh yeah, this guy is alive. And then they will try to resuscitate the guy back to life. If that doesn't happen, they will close it, this guy is gone. Mahimacharan, he plunged his finger into the eyeball. Not simply light. He plunged the finger into the eyeball. There was no sensation. Mahimacharan declared him clinically dead. After 5 minutes, he comes back to life. And then continuing the form, what was he doing? Abstraction to concreteness takes time, of course. And then he drinks some water, and then he knows the way to cajole the mind to be with the in the mundane world. He did that. But then a clinically dead guy comes back to life. That is Sri Ramakrishna. So that means what is said here, that Shariram, the body is only doing, my mind, I have got nothing to do with it. This is really an achievable state of mind. Yadricha labha santushtaha, then further qualities are being enunciated here. So how do you stay How do you stay so much disconnected and disassociated with the things that are happening around, even though you are in the thick of the affairs? So as if there are two beings within you. One doing and another one watching. So the watching person will not get affected. The doing person will get all the blows. So he says that Edricha Labha Santushta. This is one of the good qualities. You may actually misguide yourself saying that yeah, I have all these good qualities. No, I only observe. I don't do. I already have this quality. If you have that, then you must be having the next quality also. They are all litmus test. Edricha Labha Santushta. Whatever you get, you are satisfied with that. You will not be grumbling and complaining over the misfortune that is happening around you. Idricha labha santushtaha dvandva atitaha. He will not be biased. He will not take sides. There is nothing favorable and unfavorable for him. Dvandva ati vimatsaraha. It's okay, you may be like that. But then what happens? The other guy who is engaged and who has all these opposite, of course, negative qualities, but then he is having some short-term success. He is having some short-term successes. You look at the short-term success and say, "Salah, इसको मिल गया तो मुझे तो मिला. मैं इतना गुण पालन कर रहा हूँ. इतना गुण कृष्ण भगवान ने बोला कि देखो यदिच्छा लाभ संतुष्ट. अच्छा ठीक है, मैं हो गया. ऐसे ही कर रहा हूँ मैं. द्वंद्वातीतः मैं निष्पक्ष हूँ. परंतु फिर भी देखो ये साला ये सब विगुण है उनके बीच में. और फिर भी many of the guys are there. There are so many examples, who are the evil of the evil, but they have the highest of the enjoyments. Then you are feeling jealous about them. You feel jealous. I want to stay good, but I am not getting anything of this world. But these guys are so evil and so worrisome, but they are getting all the joys of the world, all the pleasures of the world. And then you start feeling jealousy. Vimatsaraha. He says you should not be jealous. So these are all indicators that you are actually dissociating from the what you call the mundane associations, and then you are as an observer, you are executing things, doing a role and fulfilling your responsibilities. What is the test? This is the test. Idricha labha santushtaha dvandvatitaha vimatsaraha. And then, fine, you did that, you did your best, but then the outcome is not in your hands. Good, bad, and the mixture of it. Siddhi asiddhi samo bhutva. In the case of fulfillment and unfulfillment, a man will have to demonstrate a very high sense of equanimity and tranquility. Just as our Janaka did. Vidilayam dagdayam namedahyati kasyan. It's a huge loss. It's a huge loss. He has to now worry about how to better the exchequer to compensate for that loss. City itself is in fires. Not one house or two houses and one village. Mithilayam Dagdaya. The entire Mithila is in fire. That means he is going to have a sleepless nights in the weeks and months and maybe year to follow. But then equanimity. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Krutva api nanibhadyate. A person who is engaging in action with all these litmus qualities, he will never get bound. There won't be any binding. So what is the binding? Can you explain what the binding is? Krutva api, even engaging in action, na nibadhyate. He is not bound. Now what is this bondage? What is this bondage Sri Krishna is talking about? Simple. The karma phala which adds back to your consciousness as the seeds. This is the bondage. Because this seed is going to bind you in future. It's going to compel you to do something in the future. For that seed I am putting now. If you don't put that seed now, then the future bondage you are relieved. The bondage which is supposed to show up in the future, maybe tomorrow or a week later, that bondage, that showing up is not going to happen. Correct? Now I have engaged in action with equanimity. Good, bad, both are acceptable for me. I'll put my best into it. I'm not jealous of people getting short-term and long-term successes. And at the same time, I'm happy with whatever that comes to me. So this way, what is happening? He is not adding back to who? He is not strengthening the existing desires. He is not creating new desires. So that means what? That karma is not going to strengthen avidya. That the moment karma to karma, that link is cut. Effectively, you have cut the link between karma and avidya. Because avidya is the one which is going to create future circumstances for you. That avidya, no, that will not happen. Avidya is bondage. So, nibhadyate, he is not bound. So that means what? The consequences of the action that is currently done, engaging in, this is not going to create future actions. So that means what? This has come to the end. It's called the sentinel. In the graph theoretical concept, there is no further pathway. You have hit the sentinel, the end. You have to come back. Dead end. So like that, if you keep on having dead ends in every engagement, then what happens? Your chitta, your consciousness becomes purer and purer. Because all the propensities inside, they get exhibited through the present actions. And you are not creating seeds or future propensities. So what happens? A time will come when these cauldron of your bijas, they will get kshaya, they will get reduced. Correct? So, nibadhyate. So, bandha means what? What is bondage? Karma vasana. Karma vasana is the one which is causing bondage. So, nibadhyate means what? He does not add karma vasana. Gata sangasya muktasya jnana avastita chetasaha yajnaya acharata karma samagram praviliyate. Yajnaya acharataha. He says, Sri Krishna says that he does it for the sake of sacrifice. He engages in the action for the sake of sacrifice. A father does the tending of the family as a sacrifice. The mother does the tending of her family as a sacrifice. The boss does the tending of his company and the respective other employee families as a sacrifice. Yajnaya, for the sake of sacrifice. It has to be done as a sacrifice. If that is done, samagram praviliyate, then what happens? All the actions that are done, that are melting away. Praviliyate, they are melting. Melting away means what? They are not leaving any trace. Same language. Na nibadhyate, same language put here, praviliyate. They are getting melted away, not leaving any deposits. What is the deposit? Karma vasana, which is your future bondage. So they all go away. If you do it with the attitude of sacrifice. Sacrifice is simple. That you don't own the results, you don't have the right over the ownership of the results of the action that you did. That's all, full stop. That's the do-all and end-all of the term yajna. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanavatam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. It's a very, very powerful verse which uses the Brahman as an idea. See, you want to do as a sacrifice, right? Now the question comes, always the sense of doership is there within us. Correct? Sense of so if you can dwindle this idea of doership, then your idea of sacrifice becomes very natural. The practice of sacrifice becomes quite seminal and umbilical in your constitution. All these are superimposed or kind of overfit because we have a different identification. So Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, in this, it gives a wonderful identification that the offering is done to the Brahman, by Brahman, for Brahman, in Brahman, of Brahman. So it is only Brahman interplaying with Brahman. I am not doing anything. So what a wonderful idea, you see. So it is a higher and higher level of abstractions. You can get rid of the sight of the lower and lower level of differences. The more differences you see, the more caught up in resolving those differences. Correct? So the more differences I see between all of you, the more I try to individualize my interactions and dealings with each one of you. Correct? That's quite painful and troublesome. And that's where the pleasure and profit, that's where the pain and comfort, and that's where favoring and unfavoring comes into picture. The moment you start seeing differences. Our so-called the idea of democratization is lost. Democratization is applicable only from the point of view of Atma. Atman alone is democratic. Everything else is trying to only simulate democracy. But it is only Atma that true democracy is felt. So, Brahman is Atman. So, the more you become democratic, the more even you are with everything that is around you. Daivameva pariyajnam yoginaha paryupasate brahmagnava pari. Now, Krishna, I will not go through these verses individually. Quickly, I'll jump about 8 to 10 verses. Now, Sri Krishna, what he does is, he gives, yajna word is taken. Since the word yajna came into picture, there are some traditional practices of yajna done in the past. Traditional yajnas are there. So, he delineates them, a few of them rather. And he says that people in the past have observed these kinds of upasanas or practices, which are yajna practices. They have observed and then they have got benefit out of it. So one is Daivameva pariyajnam yoginaha paryupasate, that is worshipping the gods as a sacrifice. So what do you say? Indraya swaha. So this particular oblation I am giving to Indra. And then subsequently you have to say idam namama. It is not mine. This particular offering which I have given to Indra has completely left my ownership, so to say, even if it is falsely assumed, and it has become one with Indra. Now I have zero claim on that. So in order to complete that understanding, Indraya swaha, idam na mama, this is not mine. Varunaya swaha, idam na mama. Krishnaya swaha, idam na mama. That idam na mama becomes a kind of a tagged utterance for every swaha. So meaning to say, this is yours and not mine. This is yours and not mine. So this is yours, but in the mind, at the back of it, I just keep a part of ownership, then it is ours, not yours. So the sense of ours, rather the sense of yours is masquerading the sense of ours, which is then the gift is not given completely. See, I have a wonderful mobile, I want to give it to you. I given it to you, but 95% of the mind is in the mobile only. I have given him. I need not have given him. Why did I give him? Anyway, I have given him. So what I have given him? What he will give me in return? That's all. That mobile will hold your mind. It is better be with you than with him. Correct? So then actually mobile is ours, not yours. So in order to make the gift as completely yours, the others, that it is not mine, that particular idea has to settle in our consciousness. So that is the one which is going to literally uproot the sense of the last thread or fiber of ownership of the item. If you utter the term, this is yours and not mine henceforth. So idam namava. So that is daivameva pariyajnam. Daiva yajna. Worship of gods done this way. Yoginaha pari. Brahmagnava pariyajnam. Yajnena eva upajuhvati. And they also do the sacrifice in the form of self. I will come to that little later. It's slightly complicated. Thing is, Brahmagna. But what is that Brahmagna? You see, Brahman has created us. Brahman has created as some person. And the identity that I am having for myself, a variety of them. There should come a time when I reduce these kinds of identities. Some person says, hey, WhatsApp में बहुत सारे friends हैं मेरा, बहुत सारे contacts हैं, सब लोगों के साथ संपर्क में हैं क्या? ना सब लोगों के साथ संपर्क में, अरे बेशी लोग, many of them are only troublemakers. Then get rid of them. Slowly I have to get rid of them. You block the message, you get rid of it. So you get rid of. See, you are already in the mode of getting rid of some of the associations. So that means what? When you had the association, you had some identity. And your identity got changed a little later, and you start blocking the same persons whom you accepted. So that means your identity has changed. So there are many giving up of identities and acquisition of identities at the same time. So that is not yajna. Yajna is giving up of the identity. You have to keep on giving up. So giving up that identity of what I am, into what are you going to give up? You take the ahuti, ghee, and some offering, and you put it into the fire. So fire is the one which is consuming whatever you have given. But you are guaranteed that to whomever you have given, that particular portion has reached. Indraya Swaha, that particular oblation has reached Indra. That is guaranteed. Agni is the messenger here. He is a Purohita. Agni Mele Purohitam Yasya Devam Mritvijam. So he is the Purohita, so he will give it to Agni. The moment you say Indraya Swaha, it will reach his doorsteps. You don't have to worry about it. There Agni vouchsafes. Now the question here is, what is the Agni here in order to dissolve my identity? I have an identity, I am the father. So the father idea I want to dissolve. I want to give up. The brother idea I want to give up. See, you will function as a brother, but I don't want to be tagged as a brother. I will function as a father. I will not be tagged as, I will be a monk, but I don't want to be tagged as a monk. I will be somebody so and so, but I don't want to be tagged as, stamped as someone. Because that stamping makes me get arrested to that particular existence. It's not allowing me to go beyond. So I need to function but not restrict myself. So that means these identities have to be dissolved. How? What is that fire in which you will dissolve all these things? That Brahmagna. The identity, the Brahman, Atman. Atman is the fire. Into that you dissolve all these identities. I am the Atman. I am not this little thing. So dissolve it. Dissolve. Go on offering the lesser identities into the huge cauldron of the Atman or Brahman. So it's a very, very profound kind. See, this kind of imagery suddenly brings in a lot of sense for the age-old practices and its modern adaptation. Modern in the sense of Krishna's time modern, not Bill Gates' time. Not your time, my time. Shrotradi, Indriya, how long can we go? It's about 1 hour 15 minutes. Another 15 minutes. So, Shrotradi, Indriyanyanye, Sayamagnishi Juhvati. Then another kind of a Juhoti. Juhoti means to give oblations to the fire is called Juhora. Ahuti. Ahuti Dhyama is Juhoti. Performing the Ahuti is Juhoti. Now you see, Dekho, I am listening to you, rather, you guys are listening to me. Of course, I am also listening to myself. The ear is doing its job. Correct? But then what do you say? I say, I am listening. The ear does its job, and then you say, I am listening. That's true. Our sense of identity makes us say that I am listening. But then, remember the sounds. Sounds are the ahutis, the ghee. And that is fed into the ear. Ear is not the tympanum. It's not the tympanum. It's actually the nerve center in the brain which is responsible for your hearing. Shrotra. Shrotra means what? Ear. But not the tympanum part. Not the organ. But it is the nerve center in your brain. Likewise, chakshu. We say it's not the physical cornea, lens part or retina part or even the optic nerve. None of these apparatus is called chakshu. Technically, chakshu is that particular brain center, nerve center, which is responsible for revealing light or perceiving light. So now what happens is this shrot, this particular input, sound inputs put into this ear, it's directly traveling into the nerve center. The nerve center now gets an input, right? So now the sound signal is the ahuti. Ahuti is given to whom? It's given to that nerve center. Nadi mandala. It is given to the Nadi mandala. So the Nadi Mandala is accepting Ahuti and then burning it. Burning it, making sense out of it. And then reacting to it. So this is seen as a yajna by the person. See, you need to dissociate yourself. The objective is to dissociate yourself from this Prakriti. I am not this body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. That question is still unresolved as of who you are when you are sleeping. Correct? It's a very, very soul-searching question. So it's very clear that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not. So that dissociation has to start. So that means what? Now this particular physical process, I need to disown. So what I do is I disown it saying that sound waves came, it went to the Nadi Mandala processed it. It is as simple as that. No. So now what you are doing is, within your own being, you are identifying your lesser forces and saying that these lesser forces are interplaying among themselves. The idea is already given before. Guna guneshu vartanta iti matvana sajjate. Prakrite guna sammuta sajjante guna karmasu thana kritsna vido mandan kritsna vinda vichalaye. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya asjatma tejasa nirashir nirmamo bhupa yujjasa vigatajva. All these shlokas we have seen in the past. Now, what is the idea that is given? It says that, the Prakriti is having the interplay. North Pole is attracting South Pole. That's okay. What have you got to do with it? It is the property of the North Pole to attract South Pole. It is the property of the Nadi Mandala, Shravana Gula, that Srotra Indriya, to process the sound inputs. It is that aspect. I have got nothing to do with it. So you have dissociated from the sense of hearing. You dissociated from the sense of seeing. Similarly, Grana. So Srotra Adi Indriya Nanye Sanyama Agnishu. So what you do is, in order to, so since this particular input is going into the Shravanendriya and then causing all the disturbance, so what you are doing now is, in order to do the right, you have to withdraw yourself, right? So in order to withdraw yourself, you exercise a control on the Shravanendriya, saying that the Shravanendriya is the one which is getting pulled to the sounds. When a nice flute music is done, we are dragged towards that. Correct? So, good, bad, bad. It is because of that, the sweet loving nature of the deer. Deer has got this. It loves the sweet music. The deers get caught in the trap set by the hunters. So, and in our being, all the five senses are highly refined. So each one of them are perilous. It can pave destruction in the future if we don't exercise caution. It's just that we have to exercise caution, nothing else. I will tell you a straightforward caution. People try to mince words and then say, for example, a person who wants to accumulate resources, accumulate the strength. People who are talking pleasing words but having wrong intentions, they will sound pleasing. So you are attracted to the sound of pleasing, not the intention. So that's a trap. Somebody talking pleasing to you but they don't have the right intention, that means you are falling trap into that. Because you are swept away by the pleasing sounds they have produced through the speech or whatever. So they are grave dangers. So that particular refined sense, faculty within us is now misused by someone else. You may say that, "Arey, he misused, so what am I to do now?" You have to exercise caution and restraint. Wisdom you have to show up. So he said that Sanyama is the Agni, just as the way. He'll come to the next line says, Shabdadin Vishayanyanya Indriyagnishu Jikhvati. The earlier one which I told, that the sound signals, they are falling into the Indriya of the Shabda, Shrotrin, Shravanendriya. So people take up that particular idea and dissociate from the interactions. Some people, what they do is, they take it a little farther. Acha, the sound is coming to the Indriya. The Indriya is now ill-trained. That is the reason why the Indriya is pulling me behind it. Now, let me now train the Indriya not to get misled by all these pleasing sounds. Or exercise caution. pass it through the intellect, and the intellect accepts it, go ahead. And the intellect stops it, do not go ahead. So what happens? So that means you are exercising restraint on the Shravanendriya. You are exercising restraint on the Chakshurendriya. Chakshurendriya explanation is very easier. Mobile is there, immediately one thing we see, we get arrested there. Huh? You're not able to lift the eye out of something which is so attractive. Maybe some very good mobile has come in the market, Apple mobile, it comes and then the 3D animation is coming. You are unable to lift your eyes out of that. You want to enjoy the ins and the outs of it. Correct? So that attraction to those objects is caused by this fellow, rascal. If only that fellow didn't come on the mobile, I would have been possibly doing something else. Correct? Only that the attachment is postponed to the future time. Whenever it comes, so I will have to not get exposed by my vulnerability. So what do? You cannot hide your vulnerability, so become strong. So how do you become strong? Now train the eyes. How do you train the eyes? Basically training the eyes means training the nerve center eye. And when it takes the idea, it not only brings the idea of the 3D simulation of the mobile with all its features, it also comes up with other elevating ideas. What is the elevating idea? अरे इसको अगर खरीदेंगे तो EMI में लगेगा, EMI में हम लोग दिवाला हो जाएंगे. These grapes are sour. करके you have to come out of it. ಏನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ somehow you have to come out of it. Otherwise you are lost. Your peace of mind is lost. So this training has to be given to the Chakshurendriya. So that's what he says. So the Sanyama, that is an Agni. When you restrain, heat is generated. Whenever you restrain, heat is generated. More power is demonstrated the moment you restrain. The moment you allow free demonstration, there you don't see the power. That's why you say we have to harness the power. What do you mean by harnessing? The moment you put a obstruction, then it can be harnessed. Dam. Flowing water, you put a dam. You harness hydroelectric energy from that. Instantly you get, you are becoming more richer. That's the harnessing. Restraint. You see the power that is accumulated within the reservoir. You open the floodgates, you stand in front of it, you will be thrown kilometers away. You are dead, instantly you are dead. The force is massive. That force was not there while actually the flow was continuous. But the moment you restrain it, you see the amount of energy that is coming in. So the Sanyama, it causes heat because of the energy accumulation. And into that heat is put all these impulses. They get destroyed. In the sense, they get purified. You put a soil, mud excavated from the depths of the earth, you put it into the furnace, you get pure metal out of it. So that's a heat that you are generating within your constitution. Into that you put all these kinds of, all the inputs that you get from the external world, you put it into that in that you will get only the good ones, all the bad ones will get removed. The rust on the soil, they all will be thrown away, and pure metal will come. And that pure metal alone is useful for us. Sarvani Indriya Karmani, Prana Karmani. So Indriya Karma, Prana Karma, these are all wonderful ideas. I would strongly insist that you read these shlokas, and then get to understand a variety of perspectives that we can develop for ourselves, even in our so-called our day-to-day activities, and convert each of them into yajnas, into what is called as the traditional sacrifices. Dravya yajna, dravya yajna dhanam is a dravya yajna. Tapo yajna, doing austerities. Yoga yajna, doing yogic practices. Swadhyaya, your self-study, studying the scriptures, not the mechanical engineering, electrical engineering topics. That is for secular, that anyway you will do. But you need a Vivekananda study circle class on a Sunday for these kinds of lessons. Correct? So this is Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya, Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna here actually means discrimination. Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka, Jnana. What is eternal and what is ephemeral? What is temporary and what is permanent? And what is life-giving and what is life-taking? We have to clearly understand this is knowledge. It is not available for free. It's not a mere experience, it's a knowledge. And this knowledge is cultivated slowly. What is left and what is right, you should know when you're taking up a journey. So, what is congenial and what is destructive, you should know. And then adopt the former and give up the latter. So, this jnana is called Viveka Jnana. Viveka Jnana. So, that when you do that Viveka analysis, that time also brain gets heated up. Because you have to do pre-process before you accept and adopt. So that is also considered as a yajna. Yatayaha is the traditional forms of yogis. Samshita vrataha. 6 different types of yajna are given in this shloka. The shloka 28. Then apane juhvati pranam. The 5 pranic forces that are indwelling in our system. Using that concept of 5 pranas, the yajna idea is also promulgated. Niyata aharaha, those people who do upavasa. Upavasa is also yajna. What upavasa? Even you are eating, suppose you do the other way, you are feasting. Now feasting also can be taken as yajna. How? You are taking the food and giving to the jadragni which is there in the stomach. That idea comes a little later. So, what Sri Krishna is trying to say is, you are not dissociated from yajna. You are in the thick of the practices of yajna. It's just that we are not observing it. We are through and through, in and out, we are in the midst of doing a variety of yajnas. Provided we have the right perspective, right attitude, all of them, all these actions, we are having yajna in the sense of merely performance of the action, but it is not getting converted into yajna. But the moment we have the right perspectives, all of them will start becoming beneficial to us. The same idea is reiterated in chapter 5. We'll come to that. I don't want to jump the gun. We'll come to that. It's a very beautiful verse. I relish remembering a few verses in the Gita. All the verses are very good. Some of them are really very, very good. Yastvat paratirevasya atma truptaschamana. That is one of them in the 3rd chapter. So yajna shishta amrita bhujo yanti brahma. Okay, up to 30 we have done. We are at 11:30 and we'll continue. Acha, I'll do the Shanti mantra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. So next class, it will be on November 2nd and I am traveling on the day. So what I will do is, we will do online class because we are November 6th or 8th, I think we will be winding up. So what I will do, wherever I am, we have these days now devices enabling us to do the online class. Even now I think the online is a part of our